Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Glad to see everybody here on a nice day. Beautiful outside, is it not?
Yes.
Thank you, warm weather. Glad to have it back. What we are going to discuss today in the SARC Academic Success Workshop is going to be on power studying. And I think with finals close by, and yes, they are close by, this will be a timely topic for us to have this discussion and get you guys ready for finals. At this point in the semester, if you have a Tuesday, Thursday class, check out how many days you have left in those classes. Not many, because I teach a Tuesday, Thursday, and I've added them up. And I'm like, as an instructor, going, oh my. So I can only imagine when students find out that number, you all are going to go, oh my. Okay, so we're rounding it out here. So let's go ahead and talk about some power studying techniques to get us through our last couple of tests and then obviously into our final exams. Okay? Now, when you see the acronym POW, what does that acronym typically stand for? When you see POW, do you know what that acronym has stood for? Say it. Prisoner of war. Excellent. Now, let's brainstorm for a second some of the emotions and feelings that somebody who is a prisoner of war, and unfortunately we have men and women that are in this predicament as we speak. What do you think are some of their feelings and emotions that are going on? What do you think they're feeling if you're a prisoner of war? Scared. What else? What else are you? Frustrated. What else? What kind of emotions is somebody feeling? Helpless. Yes, I would imagine. Let's get to 5.
They could be kind of hopeful to be rescued.
Okay. Now I'm going to star that one because that's a different angle than has been taken before, but nice job on that. And I want to address how that's going to relate here in a second. All right, one more. What's another emotion do you think somebody who is a prisoner of war would feel? Angry? Mm-hmm. And I'm going to add some more too. Probably have some fear around them, okay? Maybe even just something as common as might be a little hungry, okay? Lonely, okay? A couple of those different emotions. Now, can you relate to these emotions the night before an exam?
Yes.
Yes, okay? Some of these can ring true that you also might feel as a student the night before an exam, okay? Frustrated, and angry because did the professor not know that on this particular night my favorite TV show is on of all times, and who are they to go ahead and put an exam this particular night? This is the night where they reveal who comes in, who stays on American Idol, so now tonight I have to study. Are you kidding me? Okay, don't these professors also know I'm taking more than one class, so thank you very much. I've got 2 exams to study for now. Yeah, you get some of that, don't you? You should be. I beat the pillow when I was an undergrad sometimes going, don't you know any better? You know? Scared because of the potential outcome of this exam. What is it going to mean? If I get a 90, what does that mean? What does it mean if I get an 80? What does it mean if I only make a 60? Okay, can get a little scared about what the outcome could be. Helpless. More along lines like, you know, I'm the only student that this is happening to. Nobody else could possibly understand what I'm going through. These other 53,000 students here, they don't know what I'm under. Okay, so sometimes you can feel helpless, a little lonely with that, and hungry. People study in different ways and use their anxiety in different ways. I'm an emotional eater. Okay, so when I was an undergrad and studying came around, oh yeah, I'm popping stuff, popcorn, all sorts of things, Pop-Tarts, anything that would work to keep me going, okay? You can feel these ways. Now, what my friend over here said about hopeful to be rescued, I really like that as a positive way to also feel. And we're going to address how this can happen. So nice job there again. But I don't want you all to feel like prisoners of war when you are studying for your exam the night before. What I want you to be is prepared. I want you to be organized. And I want you to have a willingness to succeed. That's what I want you to be. Okay, that's the basis for power studying, are those three elements right there. Now, where did this whole concept of power studying come from? My experience as an undergrad. I have not done any kind of scientific research into this methodology. It worked for me. I noticed a tremendous difference when I started to apply these thoughts, these techniques, these methods. And then by giving this presentation as many times as I have, I always get emails from students afterwards going, that really did work. So I'm taking it that it is something to be helpful, okay? So being prepared, the concept under this about power studying, and let me back up 1 second. The one thing you're not going to hear me say much about is the amount of time that you need to study. Many students will come into SARC and ask us the question, I'm taking chemistry. How many hours should I study for chemistry? Or I have a 4-chapter history test. How long should I study for that? I can't answer that question because there is no set time that goes on per subject area. Every student takes in the information differently, has a different plan and approach. Okay, so there is no one way that I hear students all the time, oh, for chemistry, you got to study 8 hours. No, that's not true. That's not true. Okay, it depends on your own unique learning style, your own unique way of studying. So you're not going to hear me talk much about that because there is no theory behind that. There is no grand scheme behind it. But being prepared, we are going to talk about the difference between prep time versus study time. This is where I see college students not focusing enough time on, and that's the prep that needs to go in. Prep time I'm defining as the time that leads up to the night before you study. Okay? The night before isn't that when you're studying for your exams, is the night before? Right? You should be. That's the best time to study. The exam's the next day. Students do that all the time too. They'll come in and they'll say, how can I go ahead and study 2 weeks in advance? That would be great if I could study in advance. Can you all tell me what you did 13 days ago? No, I can't even begin to tell you maybe what I did yesterday, let alone this morning. And you want me to try to remember something from 13 days ago? Not going to happen. All right, so you should be studying the night before. Your study time here, this is 2 to 3.5 hours. No matter what the subject is, it's 2 to 3.5 hours there. Your prep time, this is the 18 to 24 hours that needs to be in place. Okay, so let's talk about what does this prep time include. What do you think some automatic preparations are that you already do to get ready to study that night before the exam? Thank you. Good job. That does lead to studying. What else do you need to do? Oh, you hit ready? Ready? Okay. Thank you, my friend in the front. Go to class. That is paramount to anything else you do. That is the number one key to prep time, is physically being present in that class. That's where you get it all. Now, you might be sitting there going, lady, you haven't gone through my schedule of classes. You don't know what I'm facing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Okay, you try to do that schedule and sit in this large class and just go, oh my, again? I get that, but your physical presence needs still to be there. Mentally, we have our good and bad days when we're in class, don't we? Yes, we do. Especially my friend who had to get up at 6 o'clock, okay? We have our good and bad days with that. But physically, your presence still needs to be there, okay? So let's make sure we're still going to class. All right, great. What's another one? What else should you be doing leading up to? What else? We got taking notes and going to class. What else?
Reading.
Good. Reading the textbook. What else should we do before? What else? There's a lot more, you know. Before you have to study, what are some things you got to get done?
Do homework.
Homework? Absolutely. I like that you said do. Complete homework? Absolutely. What else do we need to do in advance to get ready to study the night before? Because, are you ready? The night before is when we're doing the studying part. So what else do we have to do to get ready for that?
Sleep.
I'm going to put that down, okay? Okay, good one. I usually don't get that, but that's nice to put down there because your sleep pattern should stay the same. When you have people that stay up, have anybody already crammed for an exam where you pulled an all-nighter yet? Have you noticed that you're acting a little differently since that time? Yeah. Okay, I pulled an all-nighter for economics in 1986, and it does explain my personality to today. It messed me up. I never pulled an all-nighter before. That was the first time I did it. All right, and I never did it beforehand. Why would I start now? Especially during finals, I did it. It messed me up that whole rest of the week, because I'm one that needs sleep. But I'm like, no, it's academics. I got to study. Fine. Didn't do any better on my econ exam, and then I had 3 more to get through, and then my sleep pattern's all messed up. So good. Keeping your sleep pattern needs to happen there. I think you had your hand up, too.
What about like SI sessions, like answering all your questions?
Perfect. Using your resources on campus, okay? All of this stuff has to be done in advance. Note cards, study sheets, meeting with your professor. And the reason I'm saying that so slowly, that's one that sometimes we forget. If that is the person who is making out the exam, I think we need to have a little one-on-one conversation with them, okay? So we're going to get to the professor contact here in a little bit as well. Going to SI, going to tutoring on a regular basis, not just right before the exam, doing that. Study guides, all of those things need to be done in advance. So now you know already, you should know by your syllabus whether you're going to have a comprehensive final exam or if your final consists over maybe just the last half of the semester or over 4 or 5 chapters. You need to know that now. Figure it out now and see what you still need to do here. All right, this is why it takes 18 to 24 hours, is because you've got a lot going on here. The 2 to 3.5 hours that are here, what you're working on here are 2 things and 2 things only. You're working on memory and you're working on final comprehension. Shouldn't that be all you work on the night before your exam? You should not be making your note cards for the first time the night before the exam, because that takes up time to do it, and then you have to learn those. You shouldn't be rewriting your notes the night before the exam, because as you're rewriting, it might help a little bit, but then you got to review them. So all of this stuff has to be done in advance. So when you sit down to study, it's all about how do I get it up here in a way I can remember it, in a way or methodology I can understand it, to put it on the exam the next day. Okay? Can't do this. Students say all the time, I'll say to them, what's on your agenda? I got to study tonight for history. Good for you. What are you doing? Well, I'm going to rewrite my notes. I got a study group going on. I have to read the last part of the textbook, and then I'm ready to go. And I'm like, well, best of luck to you. Doesn't sound good to me. And they're like, wait a minute, study skills lady, I thought you would be pretty impressed with the fact that I mentioned those things. Yeah, but I would have been more impressed if you told me you already had them done. What I want to hear you that you're going to do the night before is review the note cards that you've already made. Okay? Now, I mentioned a study group just a second ago. How many of you have studied in groups or with a partner or something like that? I believe in study groups, I really do. But my one thing that I would say to you, don't have it the night before the exam. What's the number one problem with study groups? And what do we talk about? Nothing that has to do with what's in front of us. Okay? It's, did you see what happened yesterday in the paper? Or did you see what happened in class today? Or do you watch Grey's Anatomy? All right, if so, don't tell me what happened, but do you watch it, okay? Have you seen the latest? All of that. If you're in the library, do you just see what just walked by us? Oh my goodness. All sorts of things, not what's really at hand. So if that is something that occurs a lot, why do that the night before when you really need that time to concentrate? I believe in study groups. To make an effective study group happen, somebody needs to be the leader of that study group and be willing to step up and say, you need to stop talking about American Idol because we got something in front of us that we need to get done. That's the person that needs to step up and lead that. Now, that's not easy when you're around friends and peers and stuff, but is that friend or peer helping you get that A? No, they don't have anything to do with it. Okay, got to step up and have a leader in that study group that will keep people on task. And everybody has to be able to respect that person's authority. Okay, so I believe in study groups because I like the teaching capability from back and forth. That helps you learn. If you can teach it to somebody else, you're going to retain it. So I believe in that study group mentality, just not the night before, because you don't need the drama either. Do you have friends that are in a study group and then all of a sudden they fall out? You don't seem to understand, if I don't pass this exam right here, my mother's going to kill me. What am I going to... Do you need that negativity in front of you? No, you don't need professor bashing in front of you. You don't need to have anybody else's drama. Okay? So have your study group 2 or 3 nights before. Night before, be by yourself. Okay? Be right by yourself. All right, so there's the difference between that. That's how we're going to prepare. Get all of this stuff done ahead of time. So when you sit down to study, just like you're sitting here, the things that are in front of you are a stack of note cards, some study sheets. You've already rewritten your notes. Now you're working on, how can I remember it? How can I get my final comprehension so I know exactly what I'm talking about? Okay? Now, on to the organization part of it. All right. Now let's talk about this part of it. Would you like to know what is on your exam before you take it? Yeah, of course you do. Who doesn't? I think if I gave you the option of, I could tell you how to do that and not, most people would say, yeah. I'd love to know what's on the, well, I'm going to show you a technique of how to find out what is on the exam without breaking any rules, okay? Nothing involving a felony, okay, here, because we don't want to do that. So how do you do it? You got to ask the person who's making it out. You got to ask the person who is making it out. Now, I'm an instructor here at UCF as well, okay, not a full-fledged professor, but an instructor here. Teach a course this semester. I have tests and all of that, okay? You got to go to the person who is making it out, not the person sitting next to you in class. They're not going to know, because I hear a lot of students saying, what do you think is going to be on the exam? Well, you should go, how am I supposed, I'm not making it out, all right? You got to connect with the person who is making it happen. Now, but there is a way to go about doing this. What do you think is a wrong way to go about asking? It's a common question that many students will ask in college, and professors sometimes will give you a little bit of a look, like, seriously? What question should you not ask? What do I need to study? Yeah, just raising it up. Okay, whoa, sir, test 2 coming up. Whoa, time out, what's going to be on it? And that professor will just kind of go, really? How about everything since test 1 to now? It's not a very positive question, or, what is going to be, well, you should know what's on it. It's the things that I've gone over. And let me give you a little insight here. The reason I have to put myself in this category too, that we get a little defensive about that, because we're just as bad procrastinators as you. You're studying the night before, guess what we're doing? Making out the test the night before. So we get a little defensive about that because we don't know exactly what's going to be on the test at that moment. We know concepts that we're going to write up, but could we actually tell you this is going to be the fifth question in the multiple choice section? No, because we procrastinate just like, if my students called me the night before when they're studying for my exam and they go, Miss Wright, what are you doing? Making out the exam, what are you doing? They'll go studying, good, okay, now we're both on the same path, all right? But you can still find out, and this is a better way of asking the question than saying, what's on it? You're going to take a sheet of paper. You're going to put final at the top and list some of the concepts that you think are going to be on that exam. You take a sheet of paper, you write out what should be some of the concepts that could be on that. You go to the professor individually. Don't do this in front of everybody because this is your A. It's not everybody else's A. You're out for you and you only, and that's how it should be. So you go up to your professor, okay, in their office hours, and you slide that sheet of paper in front of them and go, Dr. Jones, if I study these concepts for this exam, am I on the right track? See how that's different than what's on it? First of all, you did something proactive and in advance, and they're going to be very, 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 very impressed with you and remember your name and face in a good way, as opposed to the joker who asks, what's on? Their name and face is being remembered, but not in a positive way, okay? And I'll tell you, this is what the professor will do. They'll go, yes, 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 nope, nope, yes, yes. I understand why you put chapter 13 down here, but remember, it's only the first part of chapter 13, okay, not the second half. There you are. You know exactly what's on it. They'll do it. They will do it. I tried this out with one of my professors as an undergrad, worked like a charm, did it with all the others, worked like a charm. Because they're very impressed, again, that somebody did something proactive. You went ahead and had something prepared. That doesn't happen enough. So walk in there and shine, and you'll be remembered for it, okay? So once the professor tells you what this is, and then you have this, what you then want to do is work on each one of the concepts that he or she told you about. Make your own study guide for that particular concept. Make 10 to 15 note cards for that particular concept, all right? Believe you me, this does not have to be detailed. It's words, it's paraphrases, it's not every single little thing, okay? So if they circled, this is the only thing I know in science land, if you're taking biology and you put down, cell division, then you know what goes under cell division, okay? So make your own study guide for cell division. Make your own 10 to 15 note cards for cell division. And that's how you can organize things into categories. Take things out of the textbook, put them on that sheet. Take things out of your notebook, put them on that sheet. Get everything very concise. The other reason you want to organize it in such a way is, again, we talked a little bit about working on memory. Can I borrow this for a second? Okay. Many of you probably do, true? Write on white paper, right? Do all of you, like you have notebooks or notebook paper that's white? This can get way too familiar if you study white sheets of paper. Your memory isn't shocked enough because this is something that's very common. So that's why you want to take the things out of here, make them something special. All right, put them on a green sheet of paper with red writing or green writing. Shake it up so your memory will help. There have been many a times when I was studying, and not when I was studying, when I was taking the exam, and you're sitting there and you're drawing a blank, and you're like, come on, I know this, I just saw it last night, I know this, what the is it? And I will put myself back into the place where I was studying, and I'll go, now wait a minute. It was halfway down the sheet of paper. There was pink highlighter above it. It was written in blue. It started with, and then you start to go A, B, C. Started with a D. That's right, D meant that, this is it. Bam, there it happened, okay? And it's because you took it out of something not so pretty as white paper, and you shook it up a little bit. That's what the memory part is about, okay? Shake it up a bit. Now, I will say, this comes down, and there's going to be some time scientific research done on this, which I think there should be. I think this is what separates the sexes on this campus just a little bit, okay? Ladies, help me out. Do we not get just a tad bit excited when we get to write in the color pink? Get just a little happy about finding the perfect pen, you know, that just writes so, you know, and you just love that color. Oh, see, I got all my people smiling at me. You know how it is, okay? Gentlemen, you want to meet the intelligent women here at UCF? Go to the school supply aisle at Target. That is where we are, because we're looking for the latest and greatest glitter pen. We're looking for the latest and greatest colored note cards. You guys have colored note. In the 80s, we didn't have colored note cards. They were white. They didn't even have lines. Drove me crazy. How am I supposed to write, you know, very nice and neat across there? Okay? Highlighters only came in 3 colors. Okay, now you got 14,000 shades of orange now for a highlighter. Use those things to your advantage. All right? There is a reason why they move to those kind of colors things. It does stimulate memory. Okay? To the point where you might have 2 different sets of note cards. Let's say you have a green set and you have a blue set. All right? When you're studying and you really get this information, put it down on the green cards. And then you can go ahead and say, look at how many green cards that I have. I know this material. The blue cards here are the ones I still got to work on. Okay? That's a confidence builder too right there. Look at all the green I know, and this is how many blue I have to study. Okay? So use these mechanical things to your advantage. All right? And plus, guys, you got a pink highlighter out in the library, you might get some very nice looks from us because we think that's pretty cool. Don't we, ladies? Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. See a guy with a pink highlighter? Nice. Nice. Okay? A blue Bic pen? Whatever. Too ordinary for us. Okay? So, but that is something I have seen. I do believe there's a difference in there because, and again, am I stereotyping just a little bit? Yeah. Look at somebody pulled out the pink highlighter. Look at that. Look at that. I knew you would have one, my friend. Nicely done. Here, wait a minute. Nicely done. Ready? Nicely done. All right. See, did you see it? Look at all the smiles you got. Look at all the great smiles you got, see? It means something. Don't underestimate the power of a pink highlighter. Do not. Okay? That's what I'm talking about here. Let's get this stuff organized now. And you can start doing it for the last couple of tests that you have left, and especially when finals are coming up. Okay? Let's get that stuff organized so we can help with that final comprehension and help out with that memory. Okay. Last part is the willingness to succeed. Got to have that power of positive thinking. Before you roll your eyes when I said that statement, there is something to it, okay? And my sister and I were raised with the power of positive thinking in our household, and yes, that's why I can do an eye roll very easily, okay? Because every time it was said, you know, we weren't allowed to say the word can't in our household. We weren't allowed to say, you know, not capable. No, I can't do that, Dad. Is that how we talk in here? Yes, Dad. Yes, I can. I'm sorry. Yes, I can do it. I know I can do it. Yes, I can. You know, that's what we had growing up. But I have to tell you, peas are a little bit smarter than we give them credit for sometimes. And when I truly started to apply that in my education when I was a junior as an undergrad, things changed. Things certainly did change. All right. But to have that willingness to succeed, we've got to have goals. We've got to have goals down. When you're in there with the professor asking them, okay, if I study this sheet here, am I on the right track? The same moment in time, start to ask them about your grades. Ask them about your grades right then and there. Sir, I understand we have a final coming up. Okay? And he or she will say, yes, of course. I've calculated at this moment that I'm at an 88 in this class. What do I need to produce on the final to get an A in here? Let them tell you a number. Let them say it's going to take a 95 or it's going to take a 91 or a 76 or whatever. You need to have that number so then you know how to move forward. Because, let me say this to you. If an instructor said you need to make a 71 or better on the final, do you study that just a little bit different than if they said you need to make a 95 on the final? Wouldn't that determine how to study? If they said a 71, I don't know about you, I'm studying for a 72 and calling it a day. I got 3 other finals to worry about. True? And if somebody said to me, you've got to make a 95 or better, okay, that's going to have to step it up a little bit. This tells you how you need to approach your studying as well. If your professor said you need to make 116 on your final, you go, whoa, is it out of 116? No, it's out of 100. Okay, thank you very much. I'll take the B or whatever it is, and I'll just keep on going. All right? Get very specific with what is necessary for that. That will help you establish that goal. Okay? Then you have it, and then you know how you have to approach it. Instead of sitting in the library to the side of your paper and going again, you have an 85, a 94, a 64, and a 71. If I add that up, my average is this, plus our final is this. But what if I don't make that on my final? Then I'm going to have this. But no, my final's really going to be this grade. So then my overall thing is that's a waste of time. Go in there and ask that professor right then and there what's going on. You don't need to be doing this. Work with your professor on that. Okay? This is the time of the semester when many professors are starting to analyze their grade book and trying to figure out how are things going, how are things progressing in courses. And as an instructor here myself, I've already made some changes to my syllabus. I've made some changes to some assignments and point values and stuff based on how the first half of the semester goes. So you might be calculating all this one way, but your professor's thinking another already. So talk to them about it. Okay? They're the people that are knowing it, and you'll stand out very positively. With this willingness to succeed, you've got your goal now. You know if you make an 86 or better, that equals an A in your class. So you have that written down. Another part of the willingness to succeed is the ability to say no. Not an easy thing to do all the time when you've got great friends tugging at your elbow going, hey, 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 Waterford Lakes, let's go. Okay? Ice cream, let's go. All right? And then while we're down there, why don't we just take in a movie? And then after the movie, why don't we go shoe shopping? So what started with a quick trip to the ice cream store that might take well, no, it's going to take more than that trying to go down LFA. Are you kidding me? All right, that took an hour. You're now into a movie that's 2.5 hours, and then you're going shoe shopping, which, ladies, that can take us a while. Okay? You've got to be able to say no to some of these things. All right? Your body might be saying, hey, you know what? You need to really get that extra hour of sleep, but you got to be realistic about it. Okay? If you have classes that don't start till 10, isn't now the time that you could potentially be at the library at 8:30? Yeah, you could. Is there anything stopping you from that? No, there's not. The only thing that could stop you from that is if you are somehow chained down to your bed. All right, that's how real we have to get with this now. Is there anything preventing you, if your class starts at 10, that you couldn't be at the library at 8:30 doing a good hour's worth of work before that class? No, the only thing that is stopping you is you. So that's where if you have these things written down, this helps with that willingness to succeed and having that motivation. You deserve that A. You have worked hard this whole semester. You have done what you're supposed to do. Get the rewards. Don't let something like rationalizing things and going, well, I was a good person yesterday, so I'm going to treat myself today. Okay, no, we're going to treat ourselves. We got a lot of time on our hands. We can treat ourselves later. Okay, that's called after the final. Treat yourself. Get a good plan of action for that. Okay, massage. Get a good plan for that, for your reward. You can't do it prior to, because there's a lot of people who go, well, let me go have a good meal, because if I have a good meal, I'll study better. And you end up going all the way down to Disney to get a good meal. Well, that's taken up 4 hours of your time. But you're rewarding yourself before it happens. You see where I'm going with that? Many, many students fall into that trap. Okay, reward yourself after. You deserve these grades. Don't let a little something like your internal motivation saying to you, don't worry about it, you'll get to it tomorrow. That's not going to help any, is it? It's not going to help. You've got to learn to say no to things and start to shut down a little bit and saying, I can't do that right now. All right, I've got 9 days left on Tuesday, Thursday classes. I only have about 5 weeks left in the semester. It's all about me right now. It's only 5 weeks we're talking. We're not talking about 70 years of your life. I'm talking about just 5 weeks. I think we can be a little selfish. And again, you deserve these grades. You can make them happen. All right, so keep that positivity going here. And if you need help with it, that's where you reach out to your professors. You reach out to your academic advisors. You reach out to those of us in SARC who have a large foot and know how to kick people when they need to be kicked. Okay? Find that mentor, find that person who will get real with you and say, come on, come on, come on, you can do this. Actually, case in point, I've been working with this young lady. She was a freshman in my class about 3 years ago, Ashley. And she came into my office about a month ago prior to break and said, Miss Wright, I need help in math. I need to get a private tutor in math. And I said, okay, I can find one for you. And I was able to get her set up with one of our tutors in SARC. And I just saw her today. And I said, how's math going? How's math going? She said, my last test, I just got an 88 on it. She goes, I can't believe it. She goes, I can't thank you enough for what you did. I said, no, I'm not the one doing the studying. I'm not the one going to class all the time. I'm not the one taking the good notes. You are doing it. She goes, but you were finally somebody who said I could do it. When you've been told your whole life you'll never succeed in math, you start to believe it. At least you were saying it to me, yes, I can. See, that's what I'm saying. You got to find those people that can help you out with that and get real with you, as you all like to say. Is that still a happening saying, or am I dating myself a little bit? Do you still say that a little bit? Just a little, maybe? Yeah, sometimes? Okay, thank you. Keep it real? Okay. Let me know when that gets outdated, please. All right, and tell me what the latest and greatest is, okay? So stay with this. If you get this stuff becomes real easy. Start to seclude yourself. I hate to say it, but sometimes we got to start to become a hermit right now. Get secluded, get out there on the beautiful day in front of the reflection pond, get your planner out, start to make things happen. All right, so you're prepared when finals come up. You're the one in charge of those finals. Finals aren't pushing you. Okay, you're like, okay, fine. Bring it, organic chem. Not scared. Bring it, statistics. Not scared. I got this. Okay, that stuff has a lot to do with it. Make sense? You gonna try it out? I can see some people getting it. I definitely can. All right, so you come by and see us. And I would like to thank you for attending this academic success workshop. We hope to see you at the next one very soon.